In this point, I will walk through how we ran a three-man Dominator against Doublewide to quickly work up the field for an easy score. Here on offense, we got Gooch catching the pool and centering to Sol Yanuck, and I will be the first initiating cut to start out. And as the first initiating cut, I'm really focused on countering the defense's momentum to try and get separation. A really effective move can be something as simple as eye contact and a small pump fake to get the defense to go a certain direction. And in this example, the defense is running down really hard to try and cover the pool. And Sol faces and looks at me to initiate my cut. And I wait just long enough until I feel like my defender has committed too far and make my move vertically past him. And in about 3 steps, I've gained separation with his momentum, still taking him the wrong way. Sol's body language and small pump fake here was effective at getting the defender to commit just a little too much. Once I catch the pass downfield, the cutters do a great job at clearing upfield here to continue providing space for the players in the Dominator to operate. I wait to see if anything obvious develops downfield, while I also wait for Sol and Gooch to catch up to the play. The mark allows an easy centering pass back to Gooch, and as the pass is in the air here, Sol immediately cuts with the momentum of the disc. And I really like that Gooch right here decides to pump this throw to Sol, because while it is open, the throw wouldn't have gotten much vertical gain and would have caused a pretty significant separation here between the 3 offensive players. In a Dominator, you have to kind of balance when to move the ball quickly versus when to keep the disc in a threatening position, and Gooch does that well here. As Gooch pumps the throw to Sol, Sol's defender makes an attempt here to clog the next throwing lane to try and slow things down, but doesn't act in time, and Gooch hits me with a nice lefty throw in stride. And as I catch that disc, I notice Sol now is unmarked because his man tried to clog that lane. And there's a big chunk of vertical space open to attack, and my defender is still behind me. So I catch and hit Sol as quickly as possible so I don't need to slow down in attacking that space and let my defender catch up. And by doing this quickly, it allows Sol to run the give-go back to me up the field with no mark set for him. The mark should be flat, but again, because he was off of Sol, he allows his free throw up to the space. After this, I once again slow down a bit to allow my teammates to catch up and get into position. And the next 3 passes here are really cool examples of a triangle offense with 3 players running give and goes to change the attacking angle. So here, notice how after each throw, the initial thrower runs off their throw through the middle of the other 2 offenders. And each time the player finds himself back into this clear triangle formation here that you can see. In this last triangle give-go attempt, I hit Sol and run off my throw, but I noticed 2 things. The vertical space of the field has now shrunk enough that the downfield defenders are close enough to pick off a pass if it's thrown to enough space. So I want to wait for those defenders to clear out of the way. I also don't have a ton of separation from my defender, so I decide to break down my cut to allow, again, for the downfield defenders to push further downfield, and also to use a start-stop move in order to create more separation for my defender. At the same time here, Gooch is following the disc, and Sol is able to hit him with a nice and quick lefty break, and once again it's in stride. And by hitting Gooch in stride, Gooch is now able to continue the disc forward to me before, again, the mark can get set. Once I catch the disc, I realize that we have now sort of entered the red zone and decide to slow the action down a bit and get into our end zone set where our downfield cutters can get involved for finishing cuts for a goal. So we do a good job here of getting the disc into the middle of the field, and I set up behind Sol for the dump, and he hits me on one last give-go, and because he already has separation to the flick side due to the mark being on the backhand side, he's got a lot of room to work with, and I probably could have led him into enough space for the score, but Alan does a great job of continuing the motion and gets the easy score for the goal at the front cone. So really good example of quick motion offense here with 3-man Dominator, and kind of a good visual of how to work up the entire length of the field with just quick movement and 3 players.
Thanks to Jack for this analysis. I tried to replicate the pattern that he was talking about earlier, where the players bisect the lines at a training. So if you want to see the video of that, I strapped a camera to my head, and you can find it on the training tier on Patreon. Thanks to all our patrons. Your support makes this possible. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon.
Cutter's content to watch. Drop back for Williams. And Yanuck into the end zone for who else but Alan Laviolette.
Laviolette played a tricky role. Obviously, it's a Dominator, and it's Williams, Yanuck, and Gooch going back and forth, but being able to time your open side cut to punish it.